Martin Houston, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, glad to be in with the game, Ryan. How you doing, man?
Good, good, good. Hey, we're talking about Nick Saban running out of gas. Did you see this?
No.
All right, so tell me who's responsible and what would they get. He takes his players out in the boat in Lake Tuscaloosa, and they run out of gas on the boat.
Uh-oh.
So they're out in the middle of Lake Tuscaloosa with no gas. The callers think it's Butch Jones that was responsible for getting gas. Hey, either way, would you like to be the guy that Nick Saban calls and says, hey, did you forget to put gas in the boat?
Yeah. You know, the whole year ever seen the thing, you had one job. This poor guy, I feel bad for him. That is horrible. So it's true. Nick Saban actually did run out of gas in the middle of Lake Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and now Lane Kiffin is now tweeting about Nick Saban running out of gas. So, I mean, anything this guy does, right or wrong, fun or not fun, or you just, because we're all, I mean, Nick Saban, the videos are him out here just laughing away. And it looks like it's Terrell Lewis, looks like Tua, and maybe one other guy that's on this boat. And they're just out floating around because they have no gas. I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's not like you could push it, right? I mean, you don't put a cone out and say, hey, help me. I mean, you're out in the middle of the ocean or the lake. The lake.
You just hope that somebody that has their phone on the boat with you and whoever you're trying to call has their phone on.
All right. So let me get to this grad transfer. I want you to put the media hat on and the player perspective hat, and we can take it one by one or you can combine it. What do you think? The grad transfer rule has now passed. So Nick Saban did not get his way, or maybe he did get his way. Either way, your opinion of this?
Well, I don't know the specifics of what the passing means because I have not had a chance to read it. Did they just go flat out unrestricted? You can transfer wherever you want, willy nilly.
Yeah. As long as you're a grad transfer, there's no. I mean, you can go.
For the players, it's a good thing. I mean, it presents some freedom in things like that. The concern you have, Ryan, is for the players who are not necessarily strong or not necessarily disciplined. And some people are going to say, well, if they graduated in 3 years, they're disciplined. Well, they graduated in 3 years under the discipline and the driving hand of Nick Saban and his process. That doesn't necessarily equate to discipline. That's why you see guys get in trouble when they leave Alabama and go to the pros, because that hand of Nick Saban of guiding and leading is not there. So in the sense of, yay, congratulations to the guys, I think it's going to be a great thing. That's what I believe. They should be able to do it. But I also felt like as a player, there should also be some restrictions around the timing of the decision. For instance, the NFL doesn't just let you be a free agent when you want. You can't start a season off with the Cowboys and at your own decision decide you want to go play for the 49ers. You don't have a certain time that you have to make that decision so that they can now plan for the next year, pre-draft, et cetera. I would like to see that component be there, Ryan, because if a kid goes through that's why I gave Blake Barnett a hard time, because he transferred and he quit on his team. And to me, anytime you decide to leave after spring, as a free grad transfer, you knew you were going to graduate. That's where the problem and the concern comes in. But I'm glad they can go wherever they want to pursue their football and their education. As far as for the league itself, I think they have opened up a can of worms that they're not going to be happy with. I think that the rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. You're going to see – I can't remember the kid's name. I think it was Cunningham that was from Birmingham.
Zach Cunningham.
That went to Vanderbilt. Ryan, do you think it's possible? I don't know that he would or would not have. But do you think it's possible that kid would have potentially looked at his last year, looked at Alabama, looked at Vanderbilt, being from Birmingham, chance to come and play at the level he could play at and come be on the national championship team, or stay at Vanderbilt? I mean, because this kid was a legit guy that Alabama didn't see his talent. He developed into a great player. Boom. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see guys, more guys, I think, want to leave the smaller schools and hurt more than you do a backup guy leaving Alabama and helping another program. And it's not just going to be Alabama that benefits. I think Georgia will benefit. I think LSU will benefit. I think the top 3, 4, 5, 6 programs are going to benefit. I think the bottom half are going to wish they had voted otherwise, because what they're going to see is they're not going to pull. Amari Smith isn't going to leave Alabama to go to Kentucky. He's going to leave Alabama to go to Georgia. You're going to see guys leaving those programs to come to the big schools, and it's not going to be the other way around. They're going to be viewed just like a Division I guy going down to a smaller school. So, yeah, I'm glad it's a step in the right way for the players. Finally, something did pass that was positive for the players, but I also think that if it's not managed correctly, it could create as many issues and problems for the league as it solves.
Let me ask you this, and when you ask him, when you look at this Alabama-Georgia rivalry for a couple of minutes, this is not even a regular scheduled game. I think it's 2020 that Georgia comes back on the schedule for 2 years. But this thing is brewing, my friend, because the University of Georgia proposed this. Nick Saban was opposed to it. They proposed. Nick Saban was opposed. Georgia got their way. Nick Saban did not, but I still think it wins for Alabama. I think Nick Saban will take advantage of this rule, and they'll find the way to get the leverage out of it. But let me just ask you, when you look at this Georgia-Alabama rivalry, could it possibly replace this Alabama-Tennessee? Because it looks like we're going to meet again if this crash course continues in Atlanta.
I think the intensity of the rivalry and the importance of the game, Ryan, is probably what's going to catapult it to the front. Also, is teacher versus student. Is he a copy of Saban? Is he a knockoff of Saban? Or is he better than Saban? That's going to begin to be part of the conversation as they win. Like, each little battle adds up. The recruiting battle, he wins head-to-head. The Maurice battle, he wins head-to-head. The appearance of this is that he wins, talking about Kirby and University of Georgia, wins head-to-head. So with all of those things, it's creating this animosity amongst the fan bases. And then when you start talking about it's going to be championships on the line most of the time when they play over the next few years, whether it be in the SEC championship game or when they come back on the schedule, one of those two teams are going to be looking at potentially knocking the other one out of having to play them. Or you're going to be looking at they play each other, one loses, then they rematch. That's going to kind of be the narrative. And so I think it very easily and quickly could replace the Tennessee in the terms of its importance and its intensity, but the longevity of the Tennessee rivalry is what makes it what it is, Ryan. But Kirby Smart, he's you dislike him as an Alabama fan, but you have to like him if you're a Georgia guy, because one thing he's done is he's trying to stand on his own. He's trying to show that he's his own man. With that, though, is going to come with you putting yourself against the best coach in the game. And don't ever think Nick Saban is caught off guard or loses. Nick Saban pushed this, Ryan. He came across, in my opinion, as opposed to it. But was he really? All Nick Saban was doing,
I don't think he was.
While the rule is here, I'm going to do this. And did he do it knowing that he's going to ultimately get what he wants? I mean, Ryan, Nick Saban is sitting back probably somewhere laughing at these other coaches.
I 100% agree.
So now I don't even have to go out and convince a kid to come to my school when he's 18. I can wait till you spend your money developing him, get him to come over here for 1 year or 2 years to my program. Oh, wow. And still go out and get the best high school players. Let me see. Where does Nick Saban lose in that category? If you think he can recruit a kid to convince him to come play at high school, that he can come play amongst Alabama players, how much easier will it be for him to convince a kid to come play for Alabama, Ryan, when that kid has proven that he can play at the SEC level, at a high level, all SEC level? I think Nick Saban will be, once again, he'll take a rule that they think was anti-Saban, and he'll be better at it than anyone else, just like he's done his recruiting rule.
Martin, look at the history.
Yes.
He's took the up-tempo and the RPOs and the ineligible linemen down the field, and he's basically said, okay, fine. I mean, he's like he's got like this bulletproof vest that's sitting out there like Superman or the Shield. What was the superhero that that had the shield or whatever? That's
Captain
what Nick
America?
Saban's like. Yeah, Captain America. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you got that. All right, but he's sitting there deflecting.
I got a 3-year-old grandson that Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Captain America. Just you have to know which one you're dealing with.
But it's like Captain Saban out there with that shield, and everybody's just throwing darts. Like they're trying to attack him every single way, and he just bounces it right off of the shield.
Ryan, I mean, his latest quote on the mouse manure, I think that was a twofold message, man. I think Nick Saban was going NCAA, and now he can put the SEC in that category. You guys got much bigger issues, but you're dealing with the wrong things. You're focusing on the wrong things. I think that was one message when he said, it's like mouse manure, focusing on mouse manure when you're up to your ears in elephant doo-doo. He's also saying, you guys keep making all of these crap rules to try to stop me. But the reality of it is, this rule change, these things you keep doing with headsets and recruiting and now grad transfers, guys, it's like mouse manure to me when you guys are up to your ears in elephant doo-doo. Think about that for a second. The tide, they're going to still continue to roll. He will figure out, Ryan, he probably already has a plan in place for how to maximize the grad transfer. Just like he missed, I will say, he missed the recruiting rule change the first year. But what did he do a year later, Ryan? What is he doing right now? He has such a grip on the recruiting. After 1 year of seeing it and adjusting, he has a grip on it that they say it is probably insurmountable for someone to come and catch up with him in terms of the recruiting class in number one.
It's amazing. Martin Houston, talk about your agency, my friend.
Alabama One Insurance Agency, located right in the home branch of Alabama One Credit Union. We're fully owned by the credit union. Alabama One Credit Union, the one you turn to for your financial solutions, has now put in place an insurance agency, independent. We're here to serve you. We're your one source for insurance. So whether you need auto, home, life, boat, toys, commercial, if you need it insured, we have products and resources and relationships that can get it insured for you. So give us a call at 205-342-0112, 205-342-0112, or visit us online at alabama1agency.com. Remember, Alabama One Credit Union, the one source for finances, Alabama Agency, the one you turn to for your insurance solution. So we have it covered, finance it here, insured here. We'd love to talk with you. Give us a call. And once again, that's alabama1agency.com.
Let me read you a title of an article that just published, okay? Nick Saban usually gets his way, except at SEC meetings where he was overruled again on Friday. Nick Saban loses again, but don't cry, Alabama fans.
Yeah, and that's perfect because Nick Saban will win. Nick Saban will get the best grad transfers.
I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, I think Nick Saban baited these guys by coming in, and he said, I love strawberry ice cream. Well, there was nobody going to stand up and say, I love strawberry. They were all vanilla and chocolate folks that day.
That's
we
right.
love vanilla and chocolate. It's just you got to pose Nick Saban because he's beating you at everything else. You got to act
Right.
like that you're trying to take this guy down. You got to please your fan base and your alums and your boosters to know that you're trying to counter something Nick Saban's trying to do.
Hey, he wins either way.
He's brilliant.
If his players can't go anywhere, then he's not wasting all of the development that he's pouring into them if they can't go to the SEC school. So he wins that way. But if all of a sudden they can, now he can get transfers from any of the other 13 schools, and I don't think they want that.
Hey, Martin, appreciate you, man. Hey, we got a big topic we're going to talk about. Well, I think you'll talk about it. You'll talk about it Tuesday. It's embargoed until 11 o'clock on Monday. But there's a big topic that we've got next week. That's a big tease for the audience. I'll send you an email.
All right,
but
let me know so I can be ready for it.
Yeah, well, you could set it up and be like really, really smart for Monday. I'll send it to you. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.